my dear learners. This is Sikriti Joshi, and welcome to the world of exploration. Welcome to the world of learning. Let's start exploring. Let's start learning. So, I again am telling you that I might be soft in my speech because I have to get better. So, but I cannot stop my work, right? So that's why I'm making this video for you guys out there so that you can uh learn, you can grasp something. So today I'm gonna cover a beautiful, a profound poem, which is A Thing of Beauty, right? Which is written by John Keats, right? So now this is basically an extract, right? This is an extract from his poem, from John Keats' poem, Endymion, a poetic romance, right? So this is a short extract. Extract means this is a short excerpt, right? So this is a short excerpt from his Endymion, a poetic romance. Uh, the poem is basically based. The poem is basically based on a Greek legend, right? Wherein a young shepherd and poet Endymion, right, who lived on Mount Latmus. Now, this is the point that you need to keep in mind. Who lived on Mount Latmus, right? Had a vision of the moon goddess. Again, you need to keep in mind that he had the vision of moon goddess, right? So, when we talk about Endymion, he lived on Mount Latmus, and he had a vision on the moon, of the moon goddess, right? Of the moon goddess, right? Now, when we talk about moon goddess, Cynthia is the moon goddess over here, right? He fell in love with her and so was determined to find her that he journeyed through the forest, right? So he fell in love with her, and was, as a lover is, he was also determined to find her, that he journeyed through the forest and down under the sea. As you can see, even the background is of uh, the ocean and the sea, like, right? So herein we are talking about he journeyed through the forest and down the sea, down under the sea, right? Now, the theme of the poem is basically it's about nature, right? As you can see in the background also, sky is there, right? Trees are there, then beach is there, right? So it's a beach, right? And I'm sitting uh, with all the elements of nature, right? Sky being one of them, trees being one of them, beach being one of them, right? So the theme of the poem is nature. And when we talk about nature, we talk about its beauty, right? How wonderful is the sky? You can see the clouds up there. You can see the blue sky, right? Very pretty, very beautiful. Then you can see the green leaves, the tree out there, right? Beautiful tree. Then you can see the water waves, right? So we are talking about its beauty, right? We're talking about the beauty of the nature and youth. As you can see me, I'm just kidding. Youth. So if we talk about youth, so major theme is beauty, right? Nature and youth. So you can imagine me, right? So you can imagine nature, right? In which I'm sitting. You can imagine beauty, right? The beautiful nature, the nature's beauty, and then you can imagine me, the youth of the uh nation, as elections are around the corner. So yeah, the youth of the nation. So these are the themes, right? So Keats loved beauty to the extent of worshipping it. So when we talk about Keats, he loved beauty to the extent that he actually worshipped beauty, right? So he loved beauty, and he loved beauty to the extent that he not only literally loved beauty, but he also worshipped beauty, right? For instance, in India also, we used to worship beauty, right? Whenever we talked about trees, or whenever we talked about plants, people knew everything about plants, right? So if I tell from my perspective, see, people were aware about the effects, about the side effects, about the benefits of plants, right? And how medicinal qualities were attached to a specific plant, and how to utilize that, the leaves of the plants, or the branches of the plants, or the anything, right, which is related to plants or trees. So they knew the benefits, right? So if I'm talking about worshipping, they worship nature, and they associated gods with different gods and goddesses with nature. Especially in our Hindu culture, we tend to associate our gods and goddesses with nature, so that we tend to be sensitive towards nature. And we, because nature is a living being, it's scientifically proven that if you talk to your plants, for instance, if you have plants at your home, and you tend to speak to them daily, like a friend, like a brother or a sister. For instance, I am the only child, and when I was small, then I used to speak to plants, right? So they literally used to move, right? They used to dance when I used to sing. So that's what I at least felt. So they are living beings. So they should be worshipped. We are living beings. Animals, cows were worshipped. Why were cows worshipped? Because first and foremost, they provide us with milk. It's not only about providing us with milk, it's also about, you know, if you like something, if that particular tree or animal is living, has life in it, right? And I'm pure vegetarian, so we worship animals, we worship trees, we worship nature. So because I'm a Pahari too, I'm a Punjabi too, I'm a Delhiite too, and I am a pure vegetarian. So we tend to worship nature, we tend to worship animals. Whenever I see a cow passing by, I worship it. I fold my hands, I join my hands, and then I worship, Uh, trees also, when I talk about trees, I I respect trees. I respect all the plants. So yes, you should be respectful, you should worship. And when we talk about A Thing of Beauty, which is written by John Keats, we are talking about the same thing over here. How he used to worship nature, right? He regards beauty as a heavenly drink. So he is basically regarding beauty as a heavenly drink, as if it's a heavenly drink, right? Uh, which soothes our spirits and gives us good health, sound sleep, and mental peace, right? So he regards beauty as a heavenly drink, right? He regards beauty as a heavenly drink, as if something has come from heaven. Heaven means up, right? The beautiful sky that you get to see, heaven. So consider that as heaven, and that is a kind. So he regards beauty as a heavenly drink. It's like when we talk about beauty, it's like a heavenly drink for us, right? That we tend to drink. Uh, which which basically soothes our spirits and nourishes our mind, soul, you know and body, right? So which basically soothes our spirits and gives us good health. So when we see a beautiful thing, for instance, I was not well yesterday, I'm still not well, right? That's why I'm speaking slowly. Otherwise, I would have been very enthusiastic, right? I'm trying to bring that enthusiasm, but still, you might be able to differentiate between that how I used to teach earlier and how I'm teaching now. So then that enthusiasm, that energy, that is missing. So why? Because, but now it at least I am getting up, I'm getting ready, I'm dressing up, I am getting my laptop ready, I'm getting my cell phones ready or whatever it is, whatever gadget I'm using, I want to do that. So I'm getting that ready, right? Uh, and I have set a background. Why did I set this backdrop? Because it it soothes my spirit. It's it basically gives me that health, that good health that I am aspiring for, right? So it is providing with me with good health, right? Why? Because it's beautiful. When I see this beauty, this beach, the sky, blue sky, the tree, I feel so good. I feel as if I'm perfectly fine, right? So and when you tend to visit some place, right? Although your own city is also beautiful, although my own Delhi is also beautiful, but when I go to some other city, whether it be Punjab or whether it be Uttarakhand, whether it be Nainital or whether it be Shimla, right? Or any other city, right? For that matter, or Agra. So every each and every place has a different beauty attached to it, right? Each and every city has, like for instance, Nainital and Shimla have mountains. Goa has a beach. I have not visited there. There was a plan for me to go, but I could not because I was not well then. So I could not go to Goa. But right now, my backdrop is such. So why? Because I prefer, I choose to see beauty, and I choose to see beauty in others as well. All there might be people around you who might be jealous or who might be envious of you or who might not be liking you, you know. But still choose to, I still prefer to choose beauty over over the ugly part, right? Over the ugliness, over the dark side, right? Now, so he regards beauty as a heavenly drink which soothes our spirits and gives us good health. Sound sleep, you tend to in a sound manner, in a nice way when you see something beautiful, right? And you have that mental peace, right? So when I talk about my stress, that I was depressed for some time, I was stressed for sometimes, or sometimes I get into that anxious state of mind or nervous, I get nervous, right? Sometimes. So that when you see a beautiful thing, you tend to feel a lot better, right? You tend to have that peace, mental peace that you have been searching for, that you have been looking for, right? So this was basically an introduction to A Thing of Beauty, which is written by John Keats. And this is Sukriti Joshi signing off. So till then, keep learning, keep growing. Let's all keep learning. Let's all keep growing. Let's all keep evolving. And let's all keep seeing the beauty in our everyday lives. This is Sukriti Joshi signing off. Bye bye. I choose to see the beauty everywhere and in everyone.